If you grow up in an environment where you're not exposed to great wealth creators and you're not given a financial education from a young age, that's a lot like being a basketball player and not having great competition to go up against. The beauty of so many great basketball players that I've had a chance to see is they have an innate ability to create shots for themselves and create great shots for their teammates. And the more that I thought about this, I realized it's rather easily applied to wealth management. Growing up as a player, there were areas across the country that were just such a hotbed for basketball talent. You know, there were schools that constantly produced Division I players, and I always asked myself, why? Why do particular areas and why do particular schools have great players coming out of there? And I realized that it's culture. Culture's everything. If you grow up in an environment watching and playing with some of the best basketball talent, that's going to rub off on you. It's going to make you the best basketball version of yourself. And if you grow up in a household with parents that understand wealth and you're constantly seeing people becoming successful, that rubs off on you too. There's great similarities there, yet if you grow up in an environment where you're not exposed to great wealth creators and you're not given a financial education from a young age, that's a lot like being a basketball player and not having great competition to go up against. From the get-go, there's an inequity, but you can overcome it. And a big part of that is circle of influence. We understand that you're a product of the people that you spend time with. You know, the more successful your circle, the further you can go, and that's from a business standpoint, from a basketball standpoint. So what I like to do is discuss a question that, frankly, as a player you may not like to answer, which is, you know, one day in the future you're not going to be able to play anymore, and what does that chapter look like in your life? You know, what is it you want to do? And I focus on passion. You know, what is it that you love to do? And maybe it's music, maybe it's art, maybe it's fashion, maybe it's business, whatever the case might be. By the way, a lot of times it's basketball, and that's okay because the natural transition is basketball training or coaching. But I encourage people to think about, who have you always wanted to meet within that industry? And think big. Think really big. And let's get that meeting with those role models that you've always had, and it's probably going to be easier than you think. And when you get that meeting, it's not an autograph session, not for either of you. It's an opportunity to build a relationship. It's an opportunity to learn from them so they become part of your circle of influence. It's not about coming up with some business deal the first time that you meet with them. It's about consistently meeting with them and learning from them and having them rub off on you. They become part of your environment, and we have a culture shift. But you can't settle on the relationships that you came into the league with. That's not to say that I want to divorce you from your friends, family, and coaches that helped you get to where you are today. Rather, if you can upgrade your circle of influence, you uplift them as well. But you have to be on offense. You wouldn't settle on the first shot the defense gives you unless it's a good shot. You got to look for the best shot. And you know, as a professional athlete, people are constantly around you. They want you to be part of their businesses, and you know, they want to spend the time with you. And I encourage you to be aggressive and find the people that you want to have a relationship with. Seek them out, be aggressive, and make it happen. I mean, this process takes time. You look at a great shooter, they became a great shooter because of repetition and practice. They shot over and over again. From my standpoint, I want you to run a lot of these meetings. I want you to meet a lot of people. And over time, you become proficient at building relationships. You get better, and through that process, your circle of influence starts to change. And that's where we can really make an impact.